Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we will be learning how birds evolved into flying. Make sure to like and subscribe. Now let's get started. Let's start with a recap. Also, if you haven't watched Chapter 1, I highly recommend you to do so. In Chapter 1, we talked about how dinosaurs evolved into gliding. Today, we'll be talking about how birds started flying. Let's time travel to the Early Cretaceous Period. The Early Cretaceous was around 120 million years ago. Nothing much has changed except that Gondwana's supercontinent started to separate and fragment into different landmasses, such as South America, Africa, Antarctica, and Australia. However, China and Europe were connected. Let's now move to North China, where Jeholornis and Confuciusornis were discovered. China was characterized by subtropical climate in the early Cretaceous. Jeholornis was a theropod, just like Archaeopteryx, although Jeholornis is considered a primitive bird. Jeholornis had adapted to flying, while Archaeopteryx could only glide. Jeholornis was able to fly by the development of asymmetrical feathers, which helped it take off and keep stable in the air. Jeholornis could not fly for a long period of time because it did not have enough pectoral muscles to flap. It also had tail feathers to help it keep balance during flight and slow down when landing. Here is the fossil of Jeholornis compared to the fossil of Archaeopteryx. Jeholornis has a longer tail, which helps it change direction in the air. Now let's check out Confuciusornis, Jeholornis' relative, appearing later in the early Cretaceous. Confuciusornis was able to flap its wings without as much energy as Jeholornis, but still used a lot of energy. As you can see in the fossils, Confuciusornis had a shorter tail, more like modern birds, not dinosaurs. The two lines which you might think is a tail actually are feathers. As you can see, Archaeopteryx, Jeholornis, and Confuciusornis are categorized as birds, although Archaeopteryx was closer to a dinosaur. So, how are these fossils preserved so well? One reason is that these birds died near lakes. The water helped keep the bones and exoskeletons preserved well before fossilization. Both birds died because of volcanic eruptions. They suffocated due to volcanic ash dispersion in the air. Proof is that there are thin interbeddings of ash in the lake sediments. Let's conclude today's video. We learned that Jeholornis lived in subtropical climate in China, and so did Confuciusornis. We also learned that Jeholornis and Confuciusornis had asymmetrical feathers, so they could fly. Jeholornis and Confuciusornis both lived in China during the early Cretaceous. They died near lakes due to suffocation from volcanic ash. Evidence shows that there are thin interbeddings of ash in the lake sediments. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to vote on my post on what you want to see next.